Chúng ta ổn định chỗ ngồi và kết nối với Zoom để nghe dịch ạ. Vâng, chiều nay có ai có muốn đặt câu hỏi? Chú Hùng tiếp tục ạ. Chú Hùng tiếp tục ạ. Vâng, xin mời chú ạ. Có ai có một cái ghế để ở đây, có cái ghế ấy, thì sẽ dễ hơn. Ghế ở bên cạnh. Dạ. Đó, vâng ạ, để đấy là vừa ạ. Anh tắt cái kia đi của em được không?
Kính chào bà Achan và ông John và cô và bà Sarah. Con hiện nay đang có một sự nhầm lẫn giữa tránh tinh tấn và cố gắng. Thì qua những buổi pháp đàm ấy thì được nghe Achan giảng thì những cái sự cố gắng để đạt được mục đích nào đó thì đều là tà tinh tấn. Thì con muốn hiểu rõ hơn về chánh tinh tấn và thế nào là chánh tinh tấn. Thí dụ như mà mình cố gắng tập trung im lặng để mà nghe giáo pháp thì đó là tinh tấn hay là chánh tinh tấn, tà tinh tấn hay là chánh tinh tấn, và là một. Hai nữa là cứ khi nghe giáo pháp xong rồi về là nghe đi nghe lại, về cố gắng để hiểu được cái giáo pháp cho nhanh chóng hơn thì đó là chánh tinh tấn hay là tà tinh tấn đó.
Yes, I feel a little confused about right effort, right virya, and the effort we do make to do anything. Achan said that any effort to get something is wrong effort. So my question is, when we come to the discussion and trying to listen to the Dhamma to understand, is it right or wrong effort? That is the first question. And the second question is, after that we go home and we listen again and again and trying to understand faster than it normally goes, then is it right effort or wrong effort?
Question. Very useful question for everyone to consider. So, as we've discussed so many times, life is just in one moment. So at one moment now, virya arises with the citta. It doesn't arise at moments of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching, and most of the other ahetuka, rootless cittas. But when kusala and akusala cittas arise, virya arises, there is effort. When the cittas are kusala, wholesome, then the effort, the virya is wholesome. When the cittas are unwholesome, akusala, then the virya is also akusala. So, coming here to listen, how many moments are there?
Nhiều lắm ạ. Không thể tính được, không nói được ạ.
Countless, no one can count. So no one can begin to consider how many cittas there are. So that means even though there are some kusala cittas, many kusala cittas, when considering how useful it is to listen to the Dhamma, wishing to hear more or understand more in a wholesome way, then the virya is kusala. What about the moments when coming here to just wishing to see our friends, just wishing to eat good food, are those moments kusala or akusala?
Bất thiện.
So we cannot just say this situation, the virya is kusala, and another situation, it is akusala, because we have to consider each citta. What about now, listening to the Dhamma, asking your question, is it kusala or akusala virya?
Thiện. Thiện.
Kusala.
Good. And what about if you try very hard to have an effort, to make an effort, and try to concentrate on an object with effort, strong effort? Is it kusala or akusala?
Bất thiện.
Akusala.
Why?
Tại vì có sự cố gắng của tôi trong ấy.
Because the self is there.
Exactly right. So when it is the idea of I make an effort, I try to understand, I focus on an object, I can be aware, then at those moments virya arises, but it's akusala virya. So this is why the Buddha taught the right path and the wrong path. The right path, beginning with right understanding, is accompanied by right factors, including right virya, samavayama. The wrong path begins with wrong understanding of I understand, I do, and so on. And it's accompanied by miccha virya. So wrong virya all the way. So it seems that when we spend an hour, as we discussed yesterday, focusing on the breath and concentrating and being very quiet, it seems it's so calm and it seems that it's right effort. But when it's motivated by the idea of I trying, I making an effort, I selecting an object, then it has to be the wrong effort and the wrong path. And you asked about listening again and again. So when you go home and there's turning on the equipment to listen to the Dhamma, what is the motivation? What is the interest at that moment?
Thì cái đó thuộc về từng đối tượng, từng người bật mà có ý định nghe.
It depends on each person and it depends on each moment. Very good. Someone may turn it on just out of curiosity to see the pictures, to check what Ajahn is wearing, to see who was there. So someone may turn it on out of lobha. Another may turn it on at that moment because of understanding the value of listening and appreciating the value of hearing more. So this is why we cannot set a rule. We cannot just say every time you listen to the Dhamma, it must be kusala, or every time you turn on the video, it must be kusala, because it depends, just as you said, in each case and each citta. What about at those moments when listening, if I am trying so hard to understand, I am trying to work out the meaning, kusala or akusala virya at those moments?
Bất thiện.
Akusala.
Yes, when it's I trying to work it out, It's not just the natural understanding. So we can forget all about I trying to do anything, I trying to make an effort, I trying to understand, because as you appreciate kusala at those moments, but it arises, and panya, right understanding, can understand even then it is I trying so hard. So virya, just like we discussed today about concentration, ekagata cetasika, is not I focusing, it's not I making an effort. It's the right effort develops naturally as understanding develops. No one to do anything at all. So I think you answered your own questions very well. So it shows there's been a lot of careful considering and reflecting, because it takes a lot of time and patience to appreciate the point that virya is a dhamma, it's conditioned and anatta, not I try to do anything.
We hear about right and wrong effort, and we'd like to know when right effort, when the effort is right and when it's wrong. But I think it's very difficult to know in practice. However, there are some general things we can consider in this regard. I would say there are two kinds of right effort and two kinds of wrong effort. Going about our normal daily life in a day without particularly having any thought about the Dhamma, for example, the effort will be right or wrong according to whether the citta is kusala or akusala. As we know, most of the day the citta is akusala. So in that sense we could say it's mostly wrong effort. But we've also learned that that level of akusala does not lead to any particularly harmful consequences and is not an obstacle to the development of the path. So it doesn't matter that it's wrong effort. That's just the way it is and will be for a long, long time yet. When it comes to the development of understanding, then of course, as we know, it's only right effort if the citta is kusala and accompanied by panya. So this is a different level of right effort. When there is awareness and understanding, the effort will be right. And again, in connection with developing understanding, if we try to develop understanding rather than allow it to arise, in the sense that the trying is not in accordance with the Buddha's teaching about conditioned realities, then it will be wrong effort in the sense of wrong path. So I suppose the general rule is just that the effort follows the citta itself. As far as thinking that anything we try to do will be wrong effort, let's go back to the daily life situation for a minute. Conventional effort can be kusala or akusala. One could make an effort to not to make a noise to disturb the other person, for example, why should that be agusala? It can be gusala, right? So we don't have to worry about effort in the conventional sense when it's not associated with the development of panya, the development of the path. Even something like we mentioned, turning on the device to listen to the teachings, there may or may not be any wrong view at that point, unless one is strongly motivated by some wrong idea about the more one listens, the more there is understanding, or something like that. So I think, as you rightly said, in daily life it depends very much on the individual, which moments are gusala, which moments are agusala, and therefore which moments are right effort, which moments are wrong effort.
Nhân tiện đây thì con xin hỏi thêm là về sự hiểu biết. Thì với sự hiểu biết thì những lời mà thầy tổ nói và giảng dạy thì mình nhắc lại và truyền đạt lại cho những người khác, thì đấy có phải là sự hiểu biết không? Hay là phải qua một cái sự suy xét và chiêm nghiệm thì mới đấy là sự hiểu biết thực sự của mình, và đấy là tránh tư duy ạ.
By the way, I also have another question. So we listen to the teachers teach the Dhamma, and if we say again those words to other friends, is it understanding, or there needs to be a lot of considering on our part so that it becomes our own understanding? And in that case, is it right thinking, like right vitaka, sama vitaka, sama sankappa, or not?
Well, this is another good question. And again, it's going to depend on the individual. However, much of what we discuss here today are things that we have learnt about the Dhamma, but not yet personally realized or understood directly. For example, we've had a lot of discussion about manasikara, but do we understand manasikara really? So in terms of sharing what one has heard with others, it's not necessary to think I should wait until I understand it better, because there could always be better understanding, and it's fine, it's okay to share what one has heard as far as one understands it.
Is there understanding now of a reality that appears, hardness that's touched now, seeing that which is seen, visible object? Or is there just thinking about different situations? What about when I'm talking about the Dhamma to others? What about the understanding now? Because if there is understanding now about the reality that appears now, even if it's just the right considering about the truth now, then at those moments, sama sankappa arises with the understanding, touching the object, so that the understanding can understand it. But if it's just thinking wisely about how can I help my friend, It may be kusala chittas, maybe metta and consideration, but is there any understanding of reality? Because samasankappa is a path factor, so that means it accompanies the understanding of reality, the understanding of the truth now. So at the moments of consideration, what is the best way, what are the best words to use to help my friend? Kusala chittas, metta, and there may be some understanding, and the vitaka is kusala, but when we use samasankappa, we're referring to the path, the understanding of what is now. So that's why we always come back to this moment to understand what is now, no matter whether we're helping our friends or thinking about whether it's enough understanding or looking at the flowers, no matter what the time or occasion. What about the reality at this moment? What about the thinking now? What about the seeing now?
Con vẫn chưa thông.
Understood yet?
Yes.
Tại vì bạn nói những từ và nhiều cái mà nó không, vì mình chưa học tới.
Because then there are many terms that you use that I don't know the meaning.
Okay.
I haven't learned them.
When we think about helping our friends, we may think we will use these words, but when the time comes we use other words, or we may think we will speak out, but actually at the time we keep quiet. It all depends on conditions. Each moment in life depends on conditions. You said before, countless moments, even while we're discussing the Dharma. So each moment, each reality depends on conditions. So the understanding begins to understand the truth now, the reality now, such as what is seen now, what is heard now, as Dhamma, as conditioned. Because usually we think about a story, what will happen when I help my friends later this evening. But what about the understanding now? So what is true, what is real now?
Lý do sự nhận biết những đối tượng của năm giác quan.
Sự nhận biết, đúng không ạ? Sự nhận biết đối tượng của năm giác quan. The knowing the object of the five sense doors.
Okay. Can we say the visible object seen now is real, and the seeing of the visible object is real now?
Là thật ạ.
And at the moment of seeing, no samasankappa at that moment at all. The seeing just arises by conditions and sees what is visible. But later, there is thinking about what is seen many times. Usually it's thinking about what is seen with ignorance and attachment. Is that correct?
Cũng chưa chắc ạ. Tại vì mình chỉ có sự nhận biết thôi ạ.
Not necessarily. Mình chỉ có sự nhận biết là sao ạ?
Nhận biết các cái hình ảnh. Cái lúc mình nhìn thấy cái đối tượng là mình được nhìn thấy.
Mình chỉ có sự nhận biết đối tượng mình nhìn thấy.
Vâng.
Because they're just the knowing of the object which is seen.
Does seeing know the object, or does it just see the object?
Nó chỉ thấy đối tượng, hiểu hình dáng và màu sắc.
It understands shape and colors.
Của nhãn quan đấy.
Vâng, nhưng mà chú dùng từ hiểu ạ.
Chỉ không nhận biết thôi, chỉ nhận biết. Còn hiểu thì nó không...
I'm not understanding, he said. Just know the object, he said.
Is knowing the same as understanding? Does seeing understand anything about what is seen? Or it just sees, just experiences what is seen?
Thấy.
It just sees what it's seen.
Right, so the seeing arises, it sees clearly what is seen and it falls away. Later, when there is thinking about what is seen, then the thinking thinks about the shapes, the colors, the patterns, and ideas of flowers and people. When there's thinking about the shapes, the colors, the flowers, the people around, is there understanding, or usually is there clinging and ignorance?
Có sự dính mắc và kèm vô minh.
Usually it's ignorance and attachment.
Usually ignorance and attachment. But what is seen, the visible object, it's a reality. Like now, there can be a little more wise considering, as you said earlier. The considering is important. There can be the considering that actually it's just a Dhamma which is seen, an element, not a flower, not a shape, not a pattern, just visible object. And at the moment of beginning to understand, it's just that which is seen, a visible object. There is understanding, and there is the beginning of Samasankappa that you mentioned, the Vitakka Cetasika, which is Samasankappa is Vitakka Cetasika. It touches the object, or if you want to say, thinks about the object with understanding. Different from when there's attachment. Like now, what is touched now?
Con chưa rõ câu hỏi.
Cái gì được xúc chạm ạ? Bây giờ cái gì được xúc chạm ạ? Vâng, cái gì là cái được xúc chạm, hoặc là cái được xúc chạm là gì ạ?
Lưng con chạm vào cái tựa của ghế.
Cái tựa của ghế ạ? It's the back of the chair.
It's the back of a chair. That's how it seems to us. In reality, at this moment of touching, close your eyes. What is touched? What is experienced?
Nếu mà nhắm mắt lại, ra chỉ biết chạm giữa cái thân thể mình và cái ghế.
If we close our eyes, we just know that there's a contact between our body and the back of the chair.
Is that what is experienced, or is that thinking? Thinking because of memory. Then we remember this is the back of the chair and this is the cushion I'm sitting on. But actually at this moment, what is experienced, what is touched? Is it back of the chair, or is it softness or hardness or warmth that is experienced now?
Trong cái khách khoảng mà xúc chạm đó thì chỉ biết rằng nó là kềm, cứng và mềm hoặc và cái sự xúc chạm thôi, chứ không có là có cái sự suy nghĩ là ghế hay là gì ạ, hay là thân mình ạ.
Right at the moment of touching, there's just the experiencing of hardness or softness or heat or cold. There's no thinking about this is my body or this is the chair.
So this is the truth that we're learning about. Understanding is beginning to understand. So actually just a moment of touching, experiencing, and what is felt, what is experienced is the softness or the hardness or the heat or the cold at this very moment. But so very quickly there are ideas, the shape, the back of the chair, all because of memory. So this is the job of understanding, supported by Sammasankappa and the other path factors, to begin to understand the truth about what are the Nama-dhammas, the realities that experience the citta and the cetasikas, and what are the Rupa-dhammas, such as the hardness, the softness, the heat, the cold and the motion, the visible object, the sound, which are experienced. Because we live in the thinking world about stories of I can feel the back of the chair and what will I tell my friends, and there are flowers that I see with different shapes and patterns. But the Buddha helped us to teach the truth about this moment, and this is how Samavayama, right effort, develops with right understanding, by understanding a little more about what is true at this moment. So thank you very much. I'll see if Ajahn would like to add more, or Jonathan.
What can be known now? Right now, what can be known?
Tùy theo đối tượng là mạnh nhất và xảy ra và sự
now.
Depending on what object is
Now.
prominent.
What can be known now?
Vâng.
tùy theo cái lúc mà đối tượng.
Thì đã là ngay bây giờ là một khoảnh khắc thì không cần tùy nữa ạ.
Ngay bây giờ con là nghe âm thanh.
Sound.
Sound, it's gone. What is it?
Vâng. Nó là âm hay chữ.
It's real, so it's a reality. At that moment when it's there, no understanding of the truth. It's just that which is object of hearing, or it is heard, sound. So there must be a reality which experiences sound, otherwise sound cannot appear. We have the intention to understand this and that, viriya, sammasankappa, and so on. They do not appear yet. But if there's no understanding of what is now appearing, can there be any understanding of what we are talking about? For example, everyone hears that is citta, a reality, arises from moment to moment, so very quickly, very shortly, but no matter what time or when or what object, it's that which experience what is there. For example, can there be visible object seen without that which sees it?
Phải có tâm thấy.
has to be the seeing citta.
So what is seen? Everyone, what is seen now? Just come back to this very moment. There is seeing, there is that which is seen. So what is seen in truth? Otherwise, there is moment of forgetting about the truth all the time of that which appears. Almost forget about the truth of that which appears, on and on, and think about other things and talk about other things. So when will there be the understanding of the truth of that which now sees? How can be the understanding of the truth of that which now sees and that now which is seen? Is that the point of understanding the truth of whatever is there, only when it's there? Otherwise, it's not time to understanding it when it's not there. We have talked many days, but there is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. No thought about it. Just forget about it. Think about the other thing. So when will the moment of understanding, the seeing right now? Is there any way? Times pass on without any understanding of seeing, hearing at all in life. And when there is the understanding of the truth of what is there now, there can be understanding of any reality at any time when it's there appearing. Is there any moment of effort in a day, in one's life? At what moment? That can be known, not just the name, but at that moment it is effort, trying to do something. When it's so very difficult, it takes quite many moments of effort, trying again and trying again. As now, there is seeing, and there's no understanding of seeing at all. So here again, so that what can be known is only that which is there, because the truth of it can be realized at the moment when it's there. So now, just same question, no matter any time, any moment, there must be the reality which arises and falls away all the time. But that is the reality which experiencing an object from birth on and on to death. That's why we learn to understand the nature of what is there. The reality which is the chief of experiencing only right now. Seeing just sees. It's not the effort, but it's a reality which arises just to see. So effort is different from it. The rupa, the reality which cannot experience anything at all, cannot be effort. Only that which experiences the object with attachment or aversion, when it's there, effort is there, trying to get or trying to do something, and effort is there too. That's why in a moment there are many realities arising together, but it depends on how much understanding of any reality. to begin to be acquainted to that reality which experiences what is there by different manners, different aspects, different quality, different characteristics. For example, we better talk about it again and again until it's not forgotten. It's there, memory now, marks and remembers all the time. Is it effort? Not effort. That's why we learn to understand different realities, one at a time, to have more confidence of the truth, that nothing can be taken for anything or I at all. Even effort is just a conditioned reality, arising and falling away. When it's there, no time to think about whether it's kusala or akusala, right or wrong. But the understanding of the characteristic of effort has to be there, right? Or it's time to try to find out whether it's right effort or wrong effort. Not at all. Because in a day, whenever effort arises, it's taken for I, right? Not the other. But in truth, it's there just in a moment and then gone, unknown, as it's not anything at all, only a characteristic which performing the function of trying or the effort to do something. So now we're talking about what is there in life from moment to moment, which hasn't been heard or studied carefully, that in truth it's there by conditions, and just very shortly, no matter where and when. At moment of cooking, is there any effort? Sure, who knows? If we don't talk about it, but we talk about it, about kusala or akusala effort and so on. But when it's there, it's not known. That's why hearing about wholesome or unwholesome effort, right or wrong effort, just to understand it when it's there. Because without understanding, even it's there, it's not known, as it's just a reality, conditioned to perform its function, and then gone, never to arise again. This is the way to have firm foundation of understanding the truth. What is there is conditioned to be there, just very shortly and then gone, even right now. That's why we talk about the truth of what is there now, little by little, in order not to forget about it. Even talking about effort in a day, there are many moments of effort, but it's not known, as it's just a reality which is different from attachment, aversion, or sanya, marks and remember. At moment of putting on the shoe, is there effort or no effort? So it's not known, but it can be known, but not by intention. But when it's time to condition the moment of understanding what is there, as we have heard a lot, it's useless just to follow the word with the idea of I understand that or I think about that. But the moment of what is heard about, the truth is that actually there is no permanent reality at all. Begin to let go, taking what is there as permanent or as something, because it's just very short and then gone. Is there effort now? If we don't know, if no one talks about it, how can there be the understanding what moment effort is there? But it's not just try to understand effort, but to understand the nature of it. And what citta arises with effort, it's not known by oneself, because each moment arises and falls away so very quickly, even effort. with other realities. So it's not time to understand the effort when it's there. Until at this moment, understanding the seeing as just a moment of seeing. Is that true? That's why only understanding the certainty of each reality as Buddha has enlightened, letting go ignorance, thinking that it's so very easy to understand or to realize it. It's impossible, because even understanding is not anyone. At this very moment, understanding is a reality which, understanding the truth, begin to consider the moment of seeing, that it sees, but the truth of the reality which sees does not appear to be known, right? For example, just right now or any time, there is the reality which arises and experiences an object from moment to moment, unknown, because what is known is only that which appears, because seeing sees it. If seeing does not see it, it does not appear. It cannot appear at all. Just consider what is there, not by will or intention or desire to understand it, but from hearing again and again, right understanding begins to know. It's not easy at all to try to understand what is there, because it cannot be known by just trying, but by considering, see, manasikara, carefully. So understand that even at moment of considering is a reality. It's not that which experience the object by way of be the chief of experiencing of the object. That's why this is the truth of life. Not only once is heard, not enough, never enough. That's why if we don't talk about seeing again today, it's like any moment thinking about seeing or thinking about other things. That's why I understand the truth and understand what it's meant by virya, effort. The truth cannot be known without effort, but effort is a reality which is conditioned to arise with what moment, see? Not by thinking by oneself, it arises with such and such moment. So now we talk about the Javana Patipataka Manasikara. Is the effort arising with it? See, no understanding, no idea at all. Because even the moment of seeing is not known. So how can there be the understanding of that which arises together with seeing at that moment? Because virya, effort, arises with chavana, patipataka, manasikara. Does it arise with pancha, tvara vasana citta, with manasikara? That is the viti patipataka manasikara. See? Not just listen, but understand conditions, why it does arise and why it doesn't arise. This is the way to let go gradually ignorance of whatever is there, eons and eons and eons ago. Only listen to the word of truth, enlightened by the Buddha. He just thought about everything, to let go the clinging to each moment itself of someone, at moment of beginning to understanding what is there, little by little. So when we talk about virya, effort, and when we talk about chavana, patipataka, manasikara, we remember the word, but not understanding that virya is there, but not with viti patipataka manasikara, different moment. They cannot be the same at all. By conditions, with different cetasikas and so on. That's why learn more about the truth of reality is to understand a little more, that whatever is there is conditioned to arise so very shortly and gone. So it's quite difficult to understand it. Only the developed panya from moment to moment, letting go ignorance of what is there. So it can understand only that which appears that we have heard before. For example, we heard about virya, effort, but no thought about a moment of cooking or cutting or doing anything. It needs effort, right? But it's not known. So now, understanding a little more about realities, one by one, as it's there heard, consider it's not I. Manasikara is there, aramana, patipataka, manasikara. See, it's not just the word is heard, but to understand, not the word at moment when it's there, but understand the nature of it, and begin to understand the differences of it at different moments, not at will at all. That's why understanding that now, even there is seeing, hearing a lot about seeing, but not yet understanding the seeing, even it's there right now. How long it will take to be truthful, not just the word, but the nature of it, no shape, no form at all. So when it appears to be known, nothing is there to be known as visible object or sound, smell, taste, touch, or idea. Begin to consider carefully to gradually get closer and closer and closer to this moment. It's the effort, but it does not appear. So just understanding that which appears, and that is right understanding and right path to develop understanding of that which is there right now, but it cannot be known, how subtle it is. But without understanding, considering again and again, there's no condition to just recognize it or understand the character of it, that it's that which is there, no shape, no form. Now, at moment when there's no visible object appearing, it's there. See, thinking about how subtle it is, it's there. Not moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, or thinking at all. It's still there, arising and falling away until the moment is conditioned to arise to experience the object which impinges on the eyebase. It's now seen. And it's the effort arising with seeing. See, if there's no hearing at all, one might think that it's there, but not at all. Because it's conditioned by karma, a deed that has been done, to see that object. No choice at all. And that is a moment which is the result of one karma. If it's a pleasant object, it's motivated or conditioned to arise by one wholesome karma, not known. That's why Buddha said, karma does not appear, it's covered up at the moment when it's done. When will it produce result? Or when will condition result? And result is seeing moment, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. And that is there all the time, from moment to moment in life, today, yesterday, tomorrow, next year, or any time. Just that which is conditioned by karma, not to die yet. It has to be this person as long as that particular karma conditioned this birth of this life. At what moment is effort? It has to be learned to understand when it's there. Because even it's there, but no understanding from hearing and considering at all, how can there be attending to the effort to be known as it's just a reality different from other realities and then gone? What are there in life is taken for I all the time, and the only way to let go the strong idea of I is only at moment of beginning to understand it, stage by stage. Intellectual understanding has to be very, very careful considering of what is heard. For example, effort. Just the word effort, it seems like one understands it already, but in truth, it's there. While working, talking, who knows? Effort is there. That's why careful considering to let go, clinging with ignorance of what is there right now. Anyone sees the Buddha, understand the truth, it's moment understand or see the Buddha.
Nếu mà thấy Pháp, thấy Đức Phật ạ. Thấy Pháp và thấy Đức Phật. Không á. Con xin cảm ơn bà và ông John và bà Sarah.
Thank you Ajahn John and Sarah. Vâng, con nghĩ là tiếp theo hình như cô Trúc Thanh cũng đã đợi mấy ngày nay rồi đúng không ạ? Là không cần nữa ạ. Dạ. Vâng, thế mời cô ạ. Dạ, mời cô. Dạ.
Thưa bà, cho con hỏi một chút xíu thôi. Bởi vì nếu mà nói nhiều thêm nữa là con không biết. Thứ nhất là con vừa nghe bà nói là cái tâm thì nhìn hay là thấy hay là nghe thì tất cả đó đều là những cái tâm nó luôn luôn chuyển động, luôn luôn thay đổi và luôn luôn sau cái khoảnh khắc đó là sẽ mất đi. Đó. Thế thì con sẽ so sánh được cái mà như vậy là bà nói là đó là không có sự tinh tấn ở đó. Đó. Thì sau đó thì con cũng có nghe bà nói là trong khi mình nấu ăn, trong khi mình lắng nghe, trong khi mình làm việc thì có sự tinh tấn ở đó mà mình lại quên đi. Thì con không hiểu cho nó, xin bà giải thích cho con.
Yes, so during your explanation, she heard that you said that there's no virya at the moment of hearing or seeing, but there is virya at the moment of cooking, but we don't know about it, it's unknown. So please elaborate on these points because she's not clear.
When we talk about cooking, we're just talking about a conventional situation. As we know, there are countless moments in any activity. And virya arises with almost every citta in life. It arises with every citta except most of the ahetuka cittas. We've learned before, we heard in Ho Chi Minh that there are 3 wholesome roots and 3 unwholesome roots. The 3 unwholesome roots are lobha, dosa, moha. The three wholesome roots are alobha, adosa, amoha. If the citta arises with no roots, it means no kusala or akusala cetasikas arise with it. So seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching are ahetuka cittas. That means no wholesome roots, no unwholesome roots, no kusala or akusala factors. And as I mentioned, virya doesn't arise with most of the ahetuka cittas. There are two exceptions. There are 18 ahetuka cittas. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching are 10 because 5 kusala vipaka, 5 akusala vipaka, 10. No virya at those moments. As Ajahn mentioned in passing, the Panchadwara Vajana citta, the citta that arises before seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching, is a Kiriya citta. It's also ahetuka. No roots, no virya needed. They just arise, perform their function. The two vipaka cittas that follow the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching, the sampatichana, which receives the object, and the santirana, which investigates the object, these are also ahetuka vipaka cittas. Also, no virya required. There are 2 sampatichana, kusala and akusala vipaka, 3 santirana, 1 akusala vipaka, 2 kusala vipaka. So far, 16 ahetuka cittas. None of them need virya to experience the object. They're not kusala, they're not akusala. They're weaker cittas, they don't need virya. The Manodwara Vajana citta, or Votapanna citta in the sense door process, the citta we discussed this morning that makes way for the kusala or akusala cetasikas to arise, citta and cetasikas to arise. It is also a rootless ahetuka citta, but it needs virya. The Manodwara Vajana citta, it needs virya to arise in the mind door after the bhavanga cittas and to make way, be ready for the kusala or akusala cittas to follow. And there's one more ahetuka citta which we don't have to be concerned about. It's the smiling citta, the Hasitupata citta of the arahats. And this is ahetuka, but this one also needs virya. So apart from these cittas I've mentioned, all the others arise with virya. So that means all the bhavanga cittas during the night in this realm are accompanied by virya, for example. So virya is there at almost every moment. And the only reason for mentioning these details is to appreciate definitely no one that can do anything completely different from our conventional ideas, even the idea of right effort in the kitchen. There's right effort while cooking because there must be so many different kusala, mostly akusala cittas arising. Each one needs virya. There has to be the effort to prepare the food and so on. But in the deepest sense, the virya just arises for a moment with those cittas that have roots that are hetuka, and in addition the Mano Dwara Vajana Chitta as well. So, yes, the teachings, as we've discussed, is very deep and very subtle. So we say conventionally it needs virya to listen now and consider what is happening. But actually, no one that listens, no one that considers, just different chittas arising and falling away. No matter now whether they are kusala or akusala chittas, virya is there, being effortful, making an effort at that moment, just for an instant and gone. So it's always just for a moment. And as Ajahn said, the characteristic, we think we know what effort is conventionally, but the actual characteristic of virya, does it appear now? Sometimes when there's strong effort, there is an idea that it's strong effort, but it's a conventional idea. The Dhamma itself is very subtle.
Just a minute. We perhaps need to keep in mind that the mental factor of effort and the conventional idea of effort are quite different things. The mental factor of effort is a momentary reality. It arises and performs its function within a split second. So it can't be what we normally think of as effort. The effort involved in doing something, such as cooking, is a combination of different mental factors. There's interest, there's effort, there's, of the conventional kind. There may be some moments of kusala, but obviously mostly akusala, because the normal daily life activities are mostly accompanied by akusala rather than kusala. If one is cooking for others, then there might be some kusala involved in that. Or one might be perhaps considering what one has heard about Dhamma while doing that, which could be moments of kusala. It's really impossible to say how much kusala and akusala there would be. But the main point is that the conventional effort to do something is not what we're talking about when we talk about the mental factor of effort. Just like with the other mental factors, they all have a name that is familiar to us, but actually their function is quite different from the conventional idea, like awareness, concentration, effort, and so forth. So it's helpful to keep that distinction clear in our mind.
Chum, I'd like to ask if you have any comments or anything else you would like to ask.
Dạ, thưa là con ví dụ như con đang cố gắng, con phải dùng cái từ cố gắng để lắng nghe cái lời giải thích của bà và quý thầy, quý cô. Nhưng mà bởi vì sao con phải cố gắng? Bởi vì con muốn hiểu cái pháp mà con đã trình bày với bà. Tuy nhiên là trong khi con ngồi á, thì rất là nhiều dòng suy nghĩ nó có thể là nó làm cho con mất đi cái sự chú tâm. Vì vậy con cũng phải cố gắng để lắng nghe từng cái lời, rồi để mà hiểu được. Như vậy thì cái sự cố gắng đó, rồi nó cái từng cái tâm nó liên tiếp theo, nó diệt rồi nó liên tiếp, diệt rồi liên tiếp. thì đó có phải là sự tinh tấn trong cái việc tìm hiểu giáo pháp hay không? Và đó có phải là cố gắng, thì đó có phải là bất thiện hay không? Dạ, con xin hỏi như vậy.
She said that because coming here, she'd like to understand what is being said. And, it's very natural that when we listen, sometimes there are many distracted thoughts. So there has to be an effort to concentrate on what you are saying in order to understand it. So her question is whether this effort is part of the necessary effort to study Dhamma, or is it wrong effort?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this, because I meant to also mention it to the question that came up previously, because that talked about effort to understand. You may sometimes hear it said that trying to have understanding involves wrong view of the path. And that is so. When one is in a situation like this, hearing aspects of the Dhamma that perhaps are new or one hasn't fully understood before, there is naturally the trying to understand what has been said, the meaning of it. So that is different from what we mean when we say that trying to have understanding involves wrong view, because that is just the natural reaction to hearing something one is interested in, but it takes a little bit of consideration to understand it. So there's nothing to worry about in terms of that kind of trying to understand. Whether it's kusala or akusala is another matter, of course, depending on the individual, but it's not what we sometimes refer to as involving wrong view of self.
And of course, no one else can answer for you or for me or anyone whether it's kusala or akusala effort at those moments of listening carefully, like when the questioner asks questions. It's like you say, it seems like there's an effort to concentrate, or I'm trying not to be distracted by noises around or movements and just listen carefully. So just the same, this is the way we put it conventionally. Who can say at those moments whether that, what we call conventionally making an effort, whether it's kusala or akusala, different moments, only understanding, only panya can know at that time. No one else can answer for us. So it's for understanding to understand. But I know, for example, in my case, when I'm trying to listen to the question and sometimes slightly irritated if there's sort of noise around or something like this, or the microphone's not working, many, many akusala moments, and at those moments, akusala effort. So akusala effort is much more common than kusala effort. So even just in a few moments, kusala and akusala, but only panya can know at any moment what the truth is. But it's good to consider and to appreciate that even in a Dhamma discussion, even when listening carefully, different moments of kusala and akusala, right and wrong understanding, kusala and akusala virya, are following so quickly, and gradually the understanding can become more familiar with effort, virya, just a Dhamma, not my effort, not your effort, just a Dhamma that arises and falls away with almost every citta. But there can be a little more familiarity with it as a Dhamma.
And importantly, it's not being said that we can or should know which moments are Kusala effort and which moments are Akusala effort, because that level of understanding is yet to come. And in any event, the important thing is the understanding of the nature of a reality that's appearing. We don't need to worry in that sense about whether it's Kusala or Akusala. Kusala effort and Akusala effort, in fact, they have the same characteristic of effort, if it comes to that. So in terms of the understanding of the path, the understanding would know the characteristic of effort. And it may also know whether it's Kusala or Akusala, but the important thing for the path is the understanding of the characteristic.
Thank you very much. Cô đã rõ rồi, cô có cần hỏi thêm gì không ạ? Dạ, cảm ơn cô. Em định hỏi hả? Yes, there's some.
Hello. Yes. Thank you, Achan. Thank you, Achan, very much that always reminds us again and again about Abhidhamma now, and remind us again about Piti Padepataka Manasikara. And another way we can say that it is Panchatwara Vachanachit, and it has no vidya, yes. But another one we call Chavana Viti Padepataka, that we can call it Votapanachitta, and it have vidya. So can Ajahn please elaborate a little bit more how one have not with viryas and another one have viryas? Is my point. Yeah.
Which one have virya and which one doesn't have virya?
The Panchatwara Vachana, no virya, cetasik. And the another one is Votapanachitta.
What condition Vitti Patipataka to arise? Vitti Patipataka Manasikara to arise. It's time, because the object is there, impinged on the doorway. At that moment, Citta is Pavanka. It experiences the same object from birth. As object of Patisanti Citta, no change at all. That's why it is Pavanka, life continuum. It cannot see, it cannot hear at all. Pavanka, at moment of being fast asleep, the object is not the object of this world. That's why it's not we see or hear of things or have seen and thought about it, not at all. Nothing appears while one is asleep, right? And who knows whether there is virya with it? See, only the teachings of the Buddha, which tell about each one in details, so very subtle. So now, Pavanka cannot experience anything at all. And we just talk about one reality, the Citta, which is the first Vitti Citta. See, Vitti Citta is the Citta which experience the other object, not the object of Pavanka. Right? And if there's nothing impinged on the eye base, ear base at all, can there be moment which condition the Panchatvara Vachana Chitta, the the manasikara, it arises with each chitta all the time. But at that moment, if there's no manasikara or attention to the object which is there, how can there be a moment of beginning to know that object that is there? Right? Because Pavanka keeps on by vipaka, but when the result of karma change from just no aravana appearing at all to be the moment of experiencing that which is pleasant or unpleasant, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, the result of karma, which is not the Pavanka. But Pavanka keeps on going to condition the moment of experience, one doorway at a time, and then Pavanka again, and another doorway follow, on and on and on. This is the stream of life. So, is there only Pavanka Citta in life? Is there only Pavanka Citta in life? What condition it not to be Pavanka or on and on? One condition.
May I suggest you continue this topic later when you have a chance with Ajahn, because there are many friends who are waiting. And chị Hà mời chị.
Con xin kính chào Ajahn, cô Sarah và chú Toàn Quân. Dạ, con xin có câu hỏi là sáng nay con được nghe. Dạ, sáng nay con được nghe Ajahn nói về lúc Ajahn hỏi là hiện giờ có ngũ môn không, và rồi sau đó Ajahn mới nói rằng là ngũ môn là tâm. Rồi Ajahn hỏi hiện giờ là tâm có xuất hiện không? Dạ, thì con xin hỏi rằng là tại vì con cũng được nghe nhiều về nó là tâm nó ở bên trong. Thật sự thì hiện tại thì mình không biết gì về tâm hết. Mình luôn hướng về những cái đối tượng, chẳng hạn như cái nghe thì hướng về đối tượng của cái nghe, hoặc là cái thấy thì đối tượng của cái thấy, mà không có nghĩ, không nhớ về tâm, mà tâm thì lúc nào nó cũng có. Và con xin hỏi rằng là cái thời điểm đó là nó sinh khởi hay nó xuất hiện? Dạ, mà nếu như mà nếu có xuất hiện là xuất hiện với vô minh hay như thế nào? Tại vì con hoàn toàn không biết rồi. Dạ, con xin hỏi vậy.
Tức là câu hỏi chính của chị là về tâm thôi đúng không ạ?
Tâm nó xuất hiện.
Vâng, còn cái đoạn trước nói về ngũ môn và các thứ không quan trọng, chỉ là dẫn dắt thôi đúng không ạ?
Dạ, đúng. Để cái bắt đầu cái ý là hỏi.
So, you usually say that we pay attention to the objects and nothing is known about the citta. So, can we say that the citta appears or it doesn't appear? Or when it appears, does it appear to ignorance? Or what? I think that it's the very subtle point that I would like to know more. That's what she said.
When there's no seeing, no hearing, no smelling, no tasting, no touching at all, is that citta?
Dạ, khi mà không có nghe, không thấy, không xúc chạm và không có tâm cũng không có. Dạ có. Là thời điểm đó tâm không ký bằng.
Yes, at that moment there is the bhavanga citta.
Does it appear?
Dạ, con không biết đâu.
I don't know.
So there's no understanding of it. Just know that it's there.
Dạ đúng.
But as long as it does not appear as different from that which appears as the object, can there be anyone experience citta? At moment of just pay attention to what is known, its experience, its seen, its heard. There's sound now. Can anyone make hearing arise? Can anyone make at moment of hearing, can anyone make the hearing to appear? That's why it's not experience. That it's not the object, it's not the sound, but it's that which hears. That which hears is not the sound at all. So now sound appears. Is there any understanding of that which experience or which hears the sound?
Dạ chưa.
That's why the sound appears, but the hearing does not appear. Right? When sound appears, can hearing appear?
Dạ không.
Cannot.
That's why hearing is not the sound, but it's the moment of hearing sound. And even there's no seeing, no hearing, no smelling, no tasting, no touching, no thinking. Is that the reality, which is citta, experiences the object? What object when it's not that which is seen or heard or thought about? What is the object? Is there any object?
Đối tượng của tâm hộ kiếp là gì ạ?
Đối tượng của tâm hộ kiếp thì không phải là ở kiếp này hả? Con cũng không rõ lắm. Con được học trong được nghe và được học á, thì là nó là đối tượng của kiếp quá khứ à? Dạ.
So from what I heard in the teaching, is an unknown object from the past.
And citta is not known too, right?
Dạ đúng ạ.
Yes.
Even it's there, can it be known? Right now,
Dạ không.
can it be known?
Hiện giờ cũng đang có tâm nhưng mà con cũng không có hiểu về nó.
It's there, but there's no understanding of it at all.
Okay.
Right now, there's citta, but there's no understanding of it at all.
Does that citta appear?
Dạ không.
That's why it's not cittanupassana satipatthana, see? Even it's there, intellectual understand that it's there for sure. Otherwise there cannot be the sound heard. But at moment of sound appears, there must be the hearing, experience sound. But the hearing never appear, or even thought about, always forgotten. That's why we have to learn to hear more, consider more, manasikara more, wisely, to understand that what is there which is not sound, but is there at moment when sound appears. The beginning to attend to the characteristic of citta, the reality, no shape, no form, no sound, no sight, but it just arise and experience the object. Imagine when Panya realized the truth of it, of citta, nothing appear at all. Only that which experience the object.
Yeah.
That's why we learn to understand that actually what life is only that which arises and experience the object, and the reality which cannot experience anything. Learn to understand it in truth, no matter sound or smell. It is the reality which cannot experience anything, while there must be a reality which experiences, so it appears. Otherwise, it cannot appear at all. Even right now, citta is there. But citta does not show up. No attention to the reality which is not sound, but is that which experiences. Whenever it arises, it has to experience an object. No matter object is known or unknown. Citta is there, never lost, never absent. It's there from moment to moment. It's there, but it's there moment to moment, more subtle. So the moment before seeing is not the moment of citta which arises to see. But it's there, not just there, arising, falling away very, very quickly. No one knows because the object is not known. Even right now, at moment of what is seen, it's now appearing. No thought about the seeing. And just one moment of seeing only. The moment before seeing, the citta which arises before seeing cannot see, but it can experience the object, but not by seeing. That's why seeing is just a moment of experiencing that which appears now, only and then gone. The next moment is not seeing, but it experiences the same object because the object is still there, not gone yet, but it cannot see. How subtle it is now, who knows? Citta before seeing and citta after seeing, arising and falling away very quickly all the time. And how many different cetasikas arising with different moments of citta. That's why we learn to understand the truth, to let go the idea of I see, I hear, I think, I try, I like or I dislike. In life, what is there are only conditioned realities. Can anyone see at will? So we come to the answer for that question. There is pavanka by conditions. But how come to be the first Vitti-citta, the Panchattavara Vachana citta, which is the first Vitti-citta? And Vitti-citta means the moment of experiencing object which is not the object of pavanka and birth. So now it's not the object of pavanka because it's seen. And how come? The question is, from moment of pavanka, because one kamma is ready to condition moment of seeing or hearing. No choice at all. Nobody can stop the arising when kamma condition the moment of experiencing the object through the doorways, the 5 doorways. That's why, how come to see why citta is pavanka? Because it's time for a kamma. It's ready to condition that moment of seeing right now.
Con xin chân Ajahn. Yeah.
There is seeing now, and what appears to be seen are people and things. Are we interested in the image we have of people and things? Are we interested in what is seen and heard in conventional terms at the present moment? Yes.
Yes.
So when seeing, the moment of seeing consciousness experiences visible object, or hearing experiences sound, The mind door moments that follow will attend to the shape and form of the visible object or the sound, and conceptualize it in terms of what is presently being seen and heard.
Yeah.
Is there the same interest now in seeing itself or hearing itself? I think not. We don't have any particular interest in daily life to know seeing better or hearing better. We're just interested in the concept we have of the world as we know it normally, the world of people and things. And so that's how the kusala and agusala moments of the mind door process will attend to the visible object and sound. So mostly in an agusala way, because it's all to do with our attachment to the world as we know it, the world of people and things. And there is no incentive there, no inclination rather, to think, just to pause for a moment and think, is it really like this, or is this just a concept? And this is where the Buddha's teaching is so radical, because we are introduced to the idea that our perception of the world is not the world as it truly is. But it takes a while for that aspect of the teachings to be considered and to realize that even at a theoretical level how that comes to be. In the meantime, life goes on with attending to the shape and form of the sense door objects.
Thank you so much, Ajahn and John and Sarah.
Dạ, con xin tri ân Ajahn và chú John và cô Sarah.
Vâng, và bây giờ cũng đã là 4:30 là hết giờ pháp đàm. Thì trước khi mà chúng ta sẽ sang cái phần chụp ảnh và có vài lời con xin có vài lời.